There's no better way to enjoy the natural beauty of wood floors than with Pravada laminate flooring. Pravada laminate floors are the perfect solution for today's busy family. Extremely durable, Pravada floors resist wear, impact, fading, gapping, and warping. All Pravada floors come with a 15 to 25-year limited warranty. In this video, you will learn how to install your very own Pravada laminate floor using a floating floor technique. Floating floors are not fastened to the subfloor. This allows for a faster, glueless, nailless, and messless installation. To install your Pravada laminate floor, you will need a Pravada installation kit, complete with spacers, tapping block, and pull bar, an electric saw with carbide blade, a measuring tape, a hammer, eye and ear protection, a pencil or marker, a utility knife, and moisture-resistant tape. Before you install your Pravada laminate floors, you must first acclimate your laminate panels for at least 48 hours at the job site. Store unopened cartons of flooring in the room, away from any sidewalls. The room should be 18 degrees Celsius or warmer, with a relative humidity of 30 to 50%. Pravada laminate floors can be installed above a variety of subflooring, including plywood, concrete, and existing flooring. However, carpeting and glued down hardwood must be removed prior to installation, and subfloors must be completely dry. Ensure the subfloor is completely level. Fill any gaps with leveling compound and sand or grind down any raised areas. You should not have any gaps larger than 3/16 of an inch in your subfloor. Allow the filling compound time to cure. Remove any molding from the sidewalls and trim door jambs. To trim door jambs, place a scrap piece of floor and underlay against the door jamb and undercut the baseboard of the door jamb. Check the floor for nails and staples. These must be removed prior to installing your Pravada floors. After inspecting the subfloor and removing the moldings, sweep and vacuum the area. Now, you will need to decide which direction to lay out the floor. For best results, line the length of the panel along the longest wall and parallel to incoming sunlight if possible. Take several measurements of the room to make sure it is square. Measure the width of the room and divide by the width of the flooring panel. The remainder will give you the width of the final row. If you find that your last row will be too narrow, you will need to trim the panels of the first row in order to allow the last row to be wider. Floating floors require an underlayment. If you are installing your Pravada laminate floor above concrete subfloor, ceramic subfloor, or resilient flooring, you will need to install a moisture barrier beneath your underlayment. You can also use an underlayment with a built-in moisture barrier to save some time. If you are installing your floor on an upper floor, it is advisable to use an acoustical underlayment that will absorb noise, such as Pravada's AcouStep underlayment. Install the moisture barrier, overlapping the edges at least 8 inches, and tape the edges. Next, install your underlayment. Do not overlap the edges of the underlayment, since this can cause unevenness in your floor and weaken the joints later on. Tape the seams with a moisture-resistant polyethylene tape. When installing your floor, you should use boards from at least 3 different boxes to avoid pattern repeats. Inspect the flooring panels for any damage before you install them. Start the installation by laying the first board in the left corner of the room with the tongue side end facing the wall. Continue the installation from left to right and install the tongue of the second board into the groove of the first. Hold the second panel at a 20-degree angle from the floor and press the panel down. Use a tapping block to lock the board firmly into place. use the spacers included with your Pravada installation kit to maintain a 1/4-inch expansion gap around the outside perimeter of the room between the floor panels and the walls. This expansion gap allows the floor to expand and contract with temperature and humidity fluctuations without damaging the floor. Once you reach the end of the first row, trim the board down to fit. If the length of the last board is less than 8 inches, trim the first board to allow the last board to be longer. Turn the last board face down and mark the board to the correct length, keeping the tongue end intact. Use a power saw and cut the board with the design face up to avoid damaging the pattern. Once the board is trimmed, drop the board into place and tighten the joint. Start the second row with the cut piece from the last board of the first row, unless it is shorter than 8 inches, in which case use a new board cut in half. Angle the short ends together, then the long ends, to lock the floor into place. For the first 3 rows, stagger the boards with the seams at least 18 inches apart. On the remaining rows, stagger the boards at least 12 inches. Continue installing the remaining rows in the same manner. Mark and trim around vents or other obstructions using a jigsaw or hand saw with the finish side up. Be sure to maintain the 1/4-inch expansion gap. When you reach the last row of your installation, you may need to cut the pieces lengthwise to fit. To trim the last boards, place a board on top of the adjacent row and use a scrap piece of floorboard and a marking pin to run a trim line parallel to the length of the wall. The width of the tongue and pen gives you a 1/4-inch expansion gap. Cut the board and drop into place. Remove all spacers and reinstall any molding. Finish the floor with 1/4-round molding to cover your expansion gap. Do not attach the 1/4-round molding directly to your Pravada laminate floor. Instead, pre-drill holes and use finish nails to attach the 1/4-round molding to the existing molding or baseboard. Congratulations! You have successfully installed your beautiful new Pravada laminate floor. Since we used a floating floor technique, your floor can be used as soon as it is installed. Not only that, care and maintenance are easy with Pravada floors. Simply dry mop or vacuum your floor and avoid excess moisture. Proper care will ensure you enjoy your luxurious Pravada laminate floor for years. If you would like more information about Pravada floors, please visit our website at www.pravadafloors.com.